guys got. And so you can go on there, and it'll be starting up in a few seconds there. Nice buffering. Everything is perfect. And I want you to, of course, tell me how everything looks. This is all very good. I get to actually look at myself now. Yay! And, okay, good. We made it. Oh my God. Now, how do I get to chat on? You know, sometimes it's like, okay, is there a chat? You got to refresh and everything. So, let's say that there is right now. Yes. Good. Okay, guys. Hi, how are you doing? I'm going to presume that there is because we are starting now, and it looks like it's just now getting going. And so I can't see your chat yet, but let's work on that. Good. Okay, guys. Hi. Let me know this is working because it's like, oh my goodness. You know, here we are. Okay, good. And I look a little blurry. I feel blurry. It's a little blurry, so I'm going to get that. Now, how is the sound? Okay. And so you never know when some other music thing or something's going to sneak in. So I got to make sure everything else is off. And it looks like we're all good. And let's keep going. Okay. Am I blurry? And so that's the only other thing that I'm wondering about as I get my final tech going. Oh, what a beautiful night. It's nicer than it was yesterday. And we're going to have a very interesting broadcast this evening. So let's begin. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Yes, we are on. Good. So I'm going to, I'm not blurry. Well, how come I am blurry to myself? One, I'm going to do a quick focus check. Yeah. And so my hand will come up in just a moment to this. Okay, good. All right, good. Well, let's do this. Stop trying to show me all this extra stuff. And so here we are. Oh my goodness. It's very interesting. It sounds like I sound good too, as well. Yes. And thank you all for being here. Oh boy, what changes there are. In fact, I'm thinking of just getting right into it. And I don't think I'm too bright. There, it got better. Okay, good. All right, so now I'm ready to begin. And so let's do the thing that we're supposed to do. Oh, yeah. It's all good. And this is like really cool. It feels really good to me, what we're doing. And so let's start this process. Oh, yeah. There it is, cutting out again. Okay, it's working. Hello, everybody. This is Patrick, and I want to thank you for attending this November 18th broadcast of the Kartron Experience. And this particular one is called The Stairway to Heaven. And for those who were listening yesterday and watching, we're about to explain again this Stairway to Heaven science, and it's really interesting. So thank you guys for being here on this wonderful evening in Clearwater Beach, Florida. This is the broadcast that we are completing with here on this, on this phase, because we are getting ready to start a really cool. We're getting ready to start a really cool cycle. And if you guys ever do these spiritual journeys, you will learn that there's a modicum of trust that's mandatory in order to be able to allow everything from the glitches of life to the flow that the universe can provide, especially when we are here in between these paradigms. No sand on my computer. It shut down. Oh, you shut it down. No, I didn't. And so as you learn to balance out the seen and the unseen, as we go through these different dimensional paradigms, it's a real interesting balancing act, is it not? And so thank you guys for attending this. Let's see. And more headroom for me. Oh, yeah. That's good. That way you can see the city in the background. Clearwater, Florida. It's a Saturday night here, and we are here to actually activate what we started last night. And so Kartron is going to take up where we left off, where he left off. Actually, we. And so what an interesting time. So my background on this Stairway to Heaven, and I'll show you right away. And it's correct because I got you facing the right way. This thing is like something kind of like out of one of those mystery books, but in a different dimension. And so this is a combination of different sciences of an advanced nature. Some of them are theoretical, like Einstein's Rosen bridge. And that's where you make 2 points identical in the universe, and they use black holes, and it will then open a gateway. So you could get a gateway between 2 black holes. That was in the 40s that they came up with that. So by also adding other things, because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. You've heard that phrase before. And so it is this, the way Kartron has described when we first become a soul from a spark of source, we actually were given 3 things: a word, a code, and a tone. And the Word of God is actually a harmonic gateway. And the harmonic gateway actually determines the nature of the frequency of our soul, which then becomes our signature as a separate part of source, as we're still one with it, yet still a separate being, which can go do separate being things. And so the Word of God is basically based upon the harmonics and frequencies of creation. It's not so much of and a thou. It is vibrational. Just basically, sound is one of the 5 sacred sciences: mathematics, sound, light, geometry. And so it is this energy, which then this science of the harmonies that then created the creation, the universe. By adding the frequencies of creation, like the octaves of creation and the celestial harmonies and those other vibrational sounds that are aligned with the sacred canon or the divine mathematics, which is the floor plan upon which all of creation is made. That's the canvas. And so it is this then which then determines the nature of the capacities of the frequency. I don't know if that was understandable, but it sounded good. And people 200 years from now will get it, who are probably watching right now. Everything I write for 300 years from now, because they're probably watching and they're probably tuning in to the past channel, the history channel, the real one. And so this is based upon that science of combining same gateways, but also a harmonic, an octaves of creation. stabilization frequency, and then we have the bass tones, which are solfeggios, right? And then you have the step down mechanism of the dissonance, which then allows very high frequency to come into to the lower frequencies, some much lower than this one. And so the reason this is being done and created and used is because it's time for the shadow to be given the opportunity to exodus, because I realize that the work that we're doing is going to make it very bright here. And if it doesn't happen like big change by the winter solstice, in a month, then it is already on its way. So it's only a matter of time. Time is another measure of experience. And so that's what we're doing. And so this is the device that we created that then allows for this. And so this is lower frequencies are unharmed by this light, because it's got to be a lower frequency. Now, one of the things that's going to happen tonight is we're going to add light to the foundation of the shadow. And this is going to give the shadow extra energy, extra breath of life force and stuff, because it's time to stir them to the place where they can wake up. Because, you know, every time Kartron always talks with the shadow beings, they're always starving and they're hungry. There's never enough, because the whole fifth hierarchy or whatever is designed to where whatever you have or whatever you get or create is taken from you. And so it's this big taking system and the realm of what is not. So that's what this whole shadow matrix is. And in the 5,000 or 6,000 broad events or things that Kartron has done, it has been, we found that the same patterns occur for that energy, which is called shadow, which is some of them were actually put into those positions to help out the light, to take on the heaviness so that the light could shine brighter and things like that. Well, in a technical and professional courtesy sort of way, it's time for that being concluded. You just don't sweep it into some pit. And so to properly honor that and the capacities of it, it's necessary to review every aspect of the shadow, as well as offer the exodus to those that are so qualified, so that they can not necessarily go to the new earth, but go up and out of their, pit program that the religions want to say demonize the whole thing. It's like, really? Are we done? Aren't we done with that yet? Well, for those who are not done with that, they're going to go to a place where they can still have all of this shadow stuff, but without us. Because it's time for us to have the new earth, the one of the paradigm of prophecy, heaven on earth, not some Armageddon bullshit. Because we can choose what we want. We don't have to fulfill some politically edited religious text that was there for some agenda of some power structure, namely church that wiped out the Celts and the Druids. And basically, they took the power spots of the Druids, wipe it out, put your church on it, and create a priesthood. And it's like, really? Yeah, so they can control the mechanism of the transfer of the process. And so how many of you as light workers are saying, no, thank you, I don't need an interim or a middleman or whatever in between me and God, because I am one with creation. And so for those of you who are really ready to get on with it, that's why you're watching this, isn't it? That's why you've been supporting the Kartron experience, because it's time to do that. Well, this is the first time you've ever really seen us do a level of science at this capacity. And that's what we're going to be creating tonight. And this is to prepare for the exodus of souls, both light and dark, because this whole paradigm of mankind is complete. It's time for Godkind. It's time for the stewards. It's time for people to start acting like the ones that they're supposed to be, which the grant from Creator is to be the steward for all life, not the dominant one that destroys and takes and just creates it like a resource. Well, it's interesting because humanity is also the resource of certain more advanced, lesser light energy that's been around forever. So it's a planet of life force. So we, in this way, are part of the agricultural program. So mankind creates all this stuff. And then, our life force is mined from us. It's taken off world to worlds that don't have it. It's a very good commodity. And so we realized years ago, 15 years ago or so, that the main currency of creation is life force. And so we coined this phrase, strange term, economics, is LFUs, or life force units. So this planet is really good for mining the life force, because human energy has a very interesting consistency, probably like a really gourmet quality, because we have connections to the whole spectrum of the darkest dark and the lightest light. So making us very rare, wouldn't you say? Well, if it makes us rare, what do we as light workers, where do we fit in? Well, we're even that wonderful creme de la creme, are we not? So let's begin this process. And so life is good. Kartron's going to come through. We'll see how long my battery lasts, and if it shuts off, then this show's over. You know how it is. And what an exciting thing. You guys have already shown enough interest, signing up and stuff like that, where I now have what it takes to fix my car so that I can, in a few days, begin my sojourn to a place that's going to be really interesting. So, with further ado, Kartron's going to come through and mess with you guys even further. Have a nice day. Goodbye. For those who've watched us for a while, you may realize that we listen to the Symphony of Silence, which is the measure of the evolution according to the perception of creation itself, as far as where everything is at currently in this moment and dimension, as far as potentiality and all this other stuff. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? This is Kartron again. Thank you for showing up here. You guys are working with us, are you not? And in this way, working together, we are not separate, are we? So even though we can purvey this stuff and actually invent new sciences, the great design that Patrick had when he started adding Einstein and Rosen bridge with the octaves and the solfeggios and the the quantum particle theory, that Einstein and Rosen realized it's the same thing. Two black holes, two quantum particles, identical frequencies. Okay, even though this is a step up and down mechanism between dimensions of the, say, celestial or heavenly, the unseen right now, but it's going to become more seen. You're going to start seeing the angels, and then this solid one to the point of real dense earth. Then doesn't this also work through time? If you create an identical moment from this moment to the future or the past or whatever, then do you even need a ship to travel? Because two identical points, even in a timeline that is linear, then you can open a gateway. Now, it's not about people saying, whoopee, let's go party in Byzantium. This is about correcting things. And so there's this modicum of governance that will make sure that this is done correctly and not screwed up. And the shadow forces and all of that, they've had their technology and they've traveled through time and stuff like that. They messed with stuff, but just realize that that has been fulfilled. The protocols which are still in play for this world are, since this is a construct, a holographic reality, a stage where you as souls can individualize and forget enough so that you can play out your scenarios, experiences, relationships, and all of that, are given allotments of energy. And these allotments of energy are given so that there can be kind of a controlled result, a controlled amount. You don't want, like, so for instance, a real negative thing like a war to have unlimited energy, then this place would have stopped existing a long time ago, right? And so you have this controlled situation that is necessary to allow just enough so that things can be fulfilled, because there is a roster of fulfillment. And so when these things get completed, they can get checked off. So this energy is available for any opportunity that is ordained or whatever. Don't get into who's who on that one. And so what is done with it determines the nature and the quality and the rate and the intensity and the structure and the form and all that. The possibility, the potentiality, and the other divine subtle sciences. connected with any possibility of which is given its due energetically. So in this way, we're talking about the allotment of energy that's given to any particular experience. A lot of people nowadays are so busy talking about their things, they just don't shut up, and because they're using up all the energy mentally. So by the time it's time to go walk their talk, they're all exhausted because they've used up the energy to talk about it. It's not saying that talking about something isn't good, but if that's all you do and then you don't have any energy and you don't ever get around to it, well, that's the choice that they used to do this, because it's all like just this heady place, right? Now, there are those who speak very little and do a lot. Those who say, okay, I'm going to take this. And so, of course, there's a balance. Patrick, really, his philosophy, his process, his procedure for working with the quantum states is that he will involve principles in a project, those primarily involved, to then do something. Because if you start letting it out in the world, imagine all the thoughts and everything that can come in and really put in their agenda, their intent, their energy, and who knows what. And so that's what Patrick's approach is. He will involve the principles in a project to see how far something can occur, because otherwise it can just fizzle out. 99% of the dreams that are given to this world, dispensed to this realm from the higher levels, are diffused enough and have these other agendas and things so that they will never ever succeed. That's what we did in the first half of the Trinfinity Pulse Generator. One of those was to help bring love to all of the ancestors who had broken dreams, who had to shelf the real reason why they were here, the real purpose, the real fate, the real destiny, the real thing which drove their soul to do something in life, which gave them the passion and the animation of their corporeality, their incorporation into a body. And so all of that had failed so many times through the 13,000 years of the Shadow Yuga, which is the night of the day of the 26,000 year cycle, where each sign has 2,000 years wide. Pisces, Aquarius, Then it was this other thing that then it was time to start giving them energy to replace the sorrow. Because imagine the sadness of watching all your dreams being just shattered and laid waste while you have to go on to your third dimensional lives. Does that sound familiar to a lot of people that are doing stuff that is not fulfilling to them? And so this time right now, astrologically, for your information, almost will prevent you from doing anything that is not fulfilling anymore. Relationships, occupations, and everything else. How many of you are feeling like you really got to do something that's fulfilling? Well, that's astrological. So you got this big influence that says, you know what? Stop pretending. Stop fooling yourself. It's time to do what you're really here for. And most of the planet does not know what they're really here for. Spiritual leaders of the ilk that you are, you will be called into action. The masses are hungry. They're wondering, what am I really here for? What am I supposed to do? Yeah, there's those things, but then there's all this other stuff that goes on. There's a lot of questions going to come up. So if you guys can put your stuff into an introductory format, you could have an extra 50 million customers. And ironically, the things that you've done before won't fit, because it's a change in reality, is it not? And so welcome to this really interesting, we'll see how this is going to go down situation. And so let us begin the process while we have the battery. Archangel Michael, please sound the clarion calls. We open the portal to the Grand Hall of the Archangels. We also open a gateway to the Ascended Lord and Lady Masters of Shambhala, Saint Germain. Thank you very much. In the general meeting, the Garden of the Gods. Also, Kuan Yin, could you please open up the States of Grace, which we will definitely be using right around Thanksgiving, because that's the States of Grace annual broadcast that Patrick has done for the last 4 years. It'll be on Thanksgiving Day, probably in Austin, Texas. And so, guys, it's time to really start doing this. And the ones who are participating tonight, you are here to actually do the mechanical work of installation this and get this going, because this is a device that can make it real easy to transfer the energies in between. What has notoriously happened is that there's light, there's dark, and when it tries to change or get together, bam, destruction, right? And so this is a device that can change through the octaves of creation that will allow for a frequency to go up. And this then makes it to where it's not going to be dissonant enough, because a high frequency of a divine heavenly state can obliterate a polarized realm. And so if heaven came in now in its prophecy of heaven on earth, this place would basically fall apart on the atomic level, because the valence bonds atomically that were made in polarity of all the stuff that is made by mankind, right? Can it handle a unified field of oneness? No. So even the atomic structure itself is risk of falling apart and separating into the space that everything really is. So you can imagine the delicacy that we have to use when bringing in these divine energies while keeping things on schedule. And so you guys are here to help facilitate that. What does that make you to us, to the process, to your fellow humankind, to the prophecy, to the fulfillment of the greatest possibility, and to yourselves? That's why we've always called you the heroes, because you guys are here able to hold this energy and do this work. You are the pillars between heaven and earth. So aside from all of your lives of religions and growing up and the relationships that aren't working anymore and all of that, still you are here doing this work of a spiritual nature, because you can feel it really resonates on your soul level. And so let us begin the process. Last evening, Patrick would have done it Wednesday, but Friday was when he got to it, because there's so much going on. Notice how when you're going to do something, 10 things come in and say, can we have some of that energy too? Okay, so what we did was we created an offset Macobic field around you. We're going to reinforce it, and for those who are new, all right, we're going to activate your God gate and your pillar of transformation, right? 4 feet up, 4 feet across, pillar coming down. You all have these emails, so there should be no one new. We're detecting a few signatures, and welcome and good luck. It's like, oh, look, the shiny, pretty big thing. It's coming after me, but it looks really cool. I don't want to move yet. How to make a B-rated, oh my God, movie. Ever notice how in the horror movies, the people have to wait long enough for the monster to catch up, so they have to like sit there and go, oh wow, oh my God, whoa, it's like amazing, and then the monster's ready to kill them, and then it's like, okay, we can run now. It's like, really? Yes, it takes many to tango in that department, doesn't it? Well, all that's changing. So activate your God gates and your pillars of transformation. We'll turn this on. We're going to bring in a Theta pulse energy. Now, this is kind of like neither here nor there, crystalline, pearlescent, translucent, selenite level type of energy. So just see your God gate being filled with that Theta field. Now, everyone, you feel the pillar of transformation. We're going to bring Theta energy into that too. So it moves yet not. It's like all this stuff that it could be, but it isn't. Hopefully that does make sense. And if it does, then you truly are one of the crazy crowd. And that's why you're here, isn't it? Because you do what it takes to get the job done. So you are signing up to be the vessels of what we're going to do right now. That's why you're watching, or will be watching. So as we activate this, we're going to put a Macobic field around. So remember, everyone who was on last night's broadcast, we did it very gently like this. And this created an orb, kind of an elliptical nature around your body. And then we did a 2-layer offset field. So we got that one field, a Macobic egg around you. And now we did another field right now. We're reinforcing it. We're going to put a liquid time, a few millimeters thick in between, which is liquid continuum. Offsetting this like we did last night. This is for the new people, 0.003 microseconds. Now we are off in that time from this time. And so now we are in our laboratory, are we not? Joining together into one unified Markovic field in an offset continuum state. See all of us in the same council room now, or garden, or ship, or whatever. Temple structures, really cool. And so now it is time for us to engineer this device that has never been created before. So now this will be efficient because the battery, we want to make sure this is done. You don't want to say, tune in next week because the secret to life is, oh God, let's talk about a hot date that changed its mind. Well, we're in the middle of engineering something that's going to fulfill prophecy, and then the batteries run out. So let's be efficient about this. Okay, so now, so we're going to go quick and just feel this energy, right? Don't use your brain because you'll be asking for it. If anything, use your perception, the mind of your heart, how it feels and how you see it from love. We're activating the crystal temple of love in your hearts. See those illuminate now. We're putting a theta sun within them. Okay, on the count of three, each of you will be in your own temple of love in your heart. 1, 2, 3. Now we're also creating a great temple of love that we are in into our collective enclave of this grand Markovic vessel. Now we are going to, so just ride with us, everybody, and we'll put you on auto Kartron. Okay, so you don't have to do this, but those of you who know, or some of you already, several of you have displayed that you know what we're going to say before we say it. That means you guys are so tuned into that level. For those who are not, it's fine because you are helping us so much on these other levels as well. Okay, how is everybody doing? Please respond on the chat so we can make sure that you can actually perceive us. A few people, please, so that we know that you are still connected with us and we're not just talking to some cosmic ghost. Okay, so if you guys get too much, all right, let's put you into your soul space. This is the 4 breaths to soul. All right, 1, 2, 3. On the count of 3, take your breath and release your life. Breathe in. Take your whole existence, hold it. Breathe it out and let it go. Fall back into center. The quiet space within. Feel that quiet circulating through you. Now take another breath of the still point within. And breathe it out and fall back into the second center, the still point within the still point. Isn't this peaceful? How many of you really know that this is home? Because this is the cosmos within the cosmos within. This is the still point where nothing is necessary. You always have been and always shall be. There's nothing to become. You don't have to do. There's nothing to create, nothing to accomplish because it already is and always has been before time began. And so now on the count of 3, breathe in the stillness of the stillness. It's almost like the cosmic beginning of creation, the genesis of stillness. Hold. Okay. 2 angels pulling back the curtain behind you. Fall back into your soul now. Exhale. The soul light surrounds you now. Circulating around you, emoliating you in the source light of your soul. And now everybody breathe it in, that soul light energy. And as it goes into your lungs, it will circulate through your veins because it is the blood of creation itself. Feel that soul circulating through your vessels and feel it filling your heart full of that soul light now, illuminating the temple of love in your heart. You do realize that we are taking you out of the matrix, and then you will have to sign up for the Master Series because Earth Life will just won't do anymore. So we're basically addicting you enough to you sign up for the Master's class, and that'll pay Patrick's bills for a while. Oh yeah, Pillarette. What we are doing scientifically is really calibrating you to the highest levels capable to be corporealized in a body. And technically, when you're not in a body, you're in the Rakobic field, you're in the octaves of creation, you're in your soul. It's not in the flesh, but you can transfer. So basically, we are creating a Jacob's ladder with the soul, the still point, the self. On the count of three, this council will be above the veil of life and death. 1, 2, 3. See yourself above. Now we invoke your spirit guides. So basically, we're putting a Jacob's ladder within you because you guys are going to need to access all realms, aren't you? You're going to have to be a self sometimes in a 3D world and deal with people and kids and parents and lovers or whatever, relatives, brothers, sisters, whatever. And then on the other level, you're going to be cosmic. And whoa, yeah, baby. So this is a device that allows you to go back and forth between the different aspects of self and soul. And so now, let's see. Yes, for those who get to be thrown off with what we're going to do next, just remember you are in your center. So if you get thrown off and you're going, oh my God, right, that dissonance means you're out further from your center. So just fall back and just see yourself going to your center. Because the life is going around, the mind is trying to figure it out and calculate and psychologically and psychoanalyze and my husband's going to fit in my life, I'm going to solve all my problems, going to make money. It's like, oh, please. That's that out there. And if you're out in your mind, you'll be going really fast and it'll get you dizzy on the merry-go-round till you puke, won't it? So just breathe to center. This is the shortcut to your soul. Feel that circulate. Keep breathing. The light of the soul, which is your new blood of heaven. Rebecca will be creating a program to create the homoluminous race. She is being given the instructions now. And that will be the test group that we will use to be one of the new rays for the new Earth. So those of you who want to, when it's figured out, it'll come out, but then that's something you guys might want to do. Yes, new Earth, woohoo! And that means we're going to calibrate you and take out all your stuff, and you'll be totally useless as a human. So just let you know. But you're going to be so good as a god. You're going to feel so nourished. You'll never be alone again. You'll be one with Source itself. All the longings will go because you will always be in an internal bodhisattva level nature, a somatic state, so exuberant. You know it's got to be illegal in at least 15 states because it's got to be too good. Okay, so yes, Susie, that's right. We are giving you the pure stuff. You're way past go, not playing Monopoly anymore. In fact, we might as well just put your Monopoly board on eBay. Okay, guys, so on the count of three, we're going to create a greater pillar around your God gate. We're going to create a gate around your gate because it's your collective system. Are you accepting of this to do the greater work? We're going to give you a system that will allow you to do the great work. Please respond on the chat. So we're notifying you. Now, this will give you the chance to do the greater work and also keep you a little more sane. But it means you guys signed up for the big stuff. And so if not, that's fine. You don't have to. But so for those who are consenting, we are going to see your God gate 4 feet across. We're going to put another gate around that now. Susie, we've given you yours because you just so can't be small. Oh, we're going to do this and that. It's like, good for you, girl. Thank you so much. You let us know how that rodeo goes. You're doing great, by the way. You guys are so amazing that you're actually here. It's wow. Some of you would have died in a normal circumstance had this been given years ago because this vibration was just not capable of being in a place where bodies could access their soul. Bigfoot, yes. Pretty soon, Randy, you're going to be so vibrationally unavailable for all that weird stuff that it just will be this weird dream. So, guys, if you've got weird stuff happening and you're starting this process of raising your vibration, relish in the teacher that the shadow is because it's going. Pretty soon it won't be there, and you won't have the opportunity to use the dark as a teacher anymore because it is basically seeking itself, is it not? It is also in that kind of school of hard knocks genre where it's like it needs to teach stronger lessons. But if you get to this place, you find the balance and all of that, then it's not necessary. And that part of you is not there anymore. The whole rodeo game playing of not being completely true to yourself then is not needed, and you then basically is going into auto mastery. And so, but the familiar of this stuff, you don't have to rush through these dramas and stories. Just know that there is a direct path now. So, this pillar comes down around the outer gate, which does not touch your inner gate. We're going to make this, you guys are not supposed to use the theta energy all over the place and make some interesting cosmic situation. So we're going to make it lavender, cobalt core, which is X-ray and gamma rays. Now we're going to put a pillar sheath outside your other pillar, which is the size of your personal God gate. 1, 2, 3. Just see this, and it's a nice thick layer, but it's still separate from your personal gate and pillar system. Now you guys can get to a really secret hiding place because you're in a system that is so not in the dimension of us. I'm having a good time ascending. I'm getting the joy. I'm communing with angels and all this stuff. And then everybody's at the store grumping at each other. And it's like, I am just fine. Do you know somebody? And Susie, we won't mention their names if their initials are Susie Walsh, expressed recently when she came down to do the 1111, thank you very much, that she felt kind of guilty that she was in such a cool flow. But she's getting over it really quick, right, Susie? And so you guys will start getting into this really cool thing. It's like, oh my God, all these cool things are happening. And some of you might go, wow, am I supposed to be guilty because is life really supposed to be this nice? Yes, it is this nice once you get complete. So if you get dark energies right now going on, give it itself. Here, take it. Let it go. You don't need those character qualities and adjustments. Just give it. Here, you can have all that stuff. On the count of 3, everybody, let go and let the shadow take what it wants. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in and release all of that energy and lessons now. In other words, you're acquiescing. You know why? Because you don't need that anymore. And it's like, this is ours now. It's like, good for you, because you're getting into the quantum state of a celestial nature. Now, we don't mean, drop the lawsuit or whatever if you're in the middle of some weird, empire battle. But we are talking about not needing to be a part of that rodeo anymore, are we not? You are choosing mastery. And what we mean by mastery is you guys are the one who are the working class gods as deity bodied beings who are here really doing the work of heaven on earth. This isn't about, I got a lesson, I got a workshop or something. You guys are here doing it. And that's what we're going to do by creating a Jacob's Ladder for the shadow tonight. And so, yes. And so Susie is like going, whoa, this is kind of weird because everything's magical. I get into the perfect gate in my airplane. Everything's synchronous and time is great. It's really great. Every time I help somebody, another cool thing opens up. It's like, whoa, it's kind of new, isn't it, Susie? It's like, whoa, yeah, welcome to the new earth. As it comes into this one, it's going to start making your lives more enchanted and magical, and things are going to open up and be in the flow. Really, you're jumping timelines, right? The top layer timelines of a somatic state are already in the new Earth. And you guys are jumping back and forth. Susie just happened to have gone through some very intense things that could have terminated her body, but she chose to remain and conclude that and evolve it and really be available for the divinity as a vessel to express it, to leave that legacy as one of the heroes of heaven. And this allowed her to remain in a body and still prototype this evolutionary state that they will be studying for centuries. You guys are about ready to become this forensic course, because in the future they're going to study you and say, how in the heck did you guys pull that off? You had nothing. Everything was against you and all of that. Patrick writes for the 300 years from now crowd all the time, because he knows they'll be like, okay. He even didn't want to get rid of his extra papers. But he's like, guys, I'm not going to have a museum storehouse, and then, you're going to pay me back later when I'm not even here on the planet. So only the good stuff we keep. So how are you guys doing? Yes. And so, Elgar, you have that flow, but now it's going to become more official. The officialization of your divinity is going to become more showcased, more forefront. How many of you have found that you are called out? Come out of the closet. I want to find out what you know. I'm not even judging at this time. Oh, really? That's interesting. And you're watching people around you really with sincere curiosity and other things. There really is a change. It's starting to lighten up. And so now we are going to create all these octaves. We've done this inside of you with the still point soul above the God gate in your body. Actually, you guys are all in all those places at once. The way to travel is just see yourself changing. So I'm going to look from above the God gate. I'm going to look from the soul. I'm going to look from myself. I'm going to look from my mind. I'm going to look from my still point. Just see, change your focus. That's how you travel, because it's not really travel, but that's... Does this make sense, guys? Please respond. This is our neurolinguistic syntactic integration process called typing, so you can use your body as we've taken you, goodness knows where. Yes, Susie is now breathing ice crystals. Okay, see, that's what we get. Her button popped out a long time ago, but we still left her on a polarized planet, a little bit over baking. Oh, yes. I'm breathing ice crystals. That's like a Dentine commercial or something on steroids. Okay, guys, now we are going to add, imagine each of these being an octave. Octaves of creation, we don't need to know them right now. We can pull them up and all this stuff, but let's just do this. So we're going to put in 8 of them right now, and you can look that up later, okay? Octaves of creation are the octaves, right? The main frequencies of creation of the universe itself, and also the celestial harmonies, which are the harmonies, music of the spheres, right? And so that is the energy, like different planets have different musical scales, not scales, but like someone could be a C+, or this one could be whatever. And so these are the tones that are the gateways of sound to the divine canon of mathematics from which sacred geometry is created. And so on the count of 3, we're going to add all of them now. 1, 2, 3. So just go feel these tones, the different octaves of creation. Now the base frequencies like the stair solfeggios, okay? You can look them up later. So just see the solfeggios being installed. Now we're going to add the octaves, which are the self-reinforcing, self-amplifying fields. And we're going to build this energy. That's why Patrick wrote, on the Saturdays, you guys are going to bring a lot of energy in. Well, we're going to start building it now, you hardcore creatures, you. So ready, get set, octaves of creation. They just keep reinforcing. Imagine the first one connecting with the second and the third, and the first to the 3 connecting with the 4th. And it's just going to keep reinforcing like a rhythmic symphony. Okay. Then on the other side, this is the distillation process. So now we're going to create the Einstein-Rosen bridge For each of these, create this point here, also down here, below the shadow. So 1, 2, 3, see these gateways open now. And so now we bring in the light, but it's distilled. It's gone into a dispensation to where the light gets dimmer and dimmer, very little, right? So if you're going to bring in a pure heavenly light and this other energy is used to dark, you might bring in 1,000 to 1% of the purest frequency. Otherwise, it could hurt the shadow. We're not here to harm it. We're here to complete it. Because its job is done. It's kind of, it's going to go into the angelic demon unemployment line pretty soon. They're going to imagine the water bottle conversations that take place at that place. And so, feel the dispensations of the Einstein-Rosen bridge with the octaves of creation and the solfeggios, and then the dispensation mechanisms. Okay. Now, on the count of 3, we are going to have each of you bring these through wherever you are in the world. 1, 2, 3. So your collective God gate, okay, collective pillar, the one we just gave you. Feel that energy come through. That's going to balance out your continent. All right. 1, 2, 3. So we're bringing this conduit through. Each of you are like one of these dispensatories, right? So feel this flowing past you to your presence, not yourself, because you don't want that energy. It's really big. So see this giant, giant energy flow around you through your collective pillar. This is your collective, your presence. And this giant ray with you in the middle, but it's not touching you. Keep your hands and feet in the vehicle at all times. Thank you for flying air, Kartron. And so I just put my finger out there. Now I can't find, the finger I used to communicate with. It's somewhere. They have a finger altar on Venus now because they found my finger. Okay, so you are the pillars, and you're dispensing this below the shadow because we've created a unified field between the gate. Remember? Gateway here, gateway here. So this would be the same design of the shadow matrix, even below hell itself. So this light, in a very quiet way, dispenses down, and this reinforces. So you see how many things we got going on here? We got the amplification for the prayer of oneness. We got the stabilization matrix between dimensions. We got the gateway system between white holes, basically. And then we're also stirring up the shadows so we can prepare for the exodus of the harvest of souls. How's that for a broadcast? And so feel the energy flowing. You can describe it, please. Yes, Elga, those are the celestial harmonies. In fact, Elga, you are no stranger to being a conductor to that symphony. Now, there is music in the background say, break, freak, ow, brick house. That may not be the celestial music that you're hearing. But anyway, the celestial harmonies are like the music of the spheres. And you guys could look it up. Please respond. Oh, goodness, Susie. So you have different thermal gradients. Yes. So that means you're transferring. Now, guys, a lot of this cosmic energy won't heat you up, okay? Now, this is the quantum science on how this works. So you got the cosmic radiation without heat. But if it comes into this realm, sometimes it will do a thermal transfer, conversion of one form of energy to the next, okay? And this is part of your master techniques that you will use where you can convert energy from one form to the next. Patrick has for years taken a hot shower, and then he would actually take the heat from the water, absorb it into his body, and then convert it into life force so he could have less food. So there's ways to convert the energy. He will have coffee before going to bed and then transfer the caffeine to the morning where it will wake him up. So you can do these techniques and stuff. So those are two examples of what he would do with being a freak of life that doesn't really fit in anywhere, so he goes everywhere. Wait till you see what he's going to do with the quantum field generator and the tabernacle, like the Ark of the Covenant. And as we get this ready, the tour of world peace to leave in the wake as the temples are awakened will be happening. And that's what you guys are supporting to get Patrick over to his destiny. So, since we don't know the battery and it will just shut off, then this is what we did. Did you guys feel this? How we, well, Susie, yes. Elga, yes. So you were listening to the music of the spheres, right? You're on the, oh, hello. Oh, g'day. Sorry, it's Australia. We have to do it upside down. How about sideways? Oh, no, this is Asia. Oh, look, this is India. It's like, oh, no, it's a round planet. And so, you know, a spaceship could be coming in from down there, upside down, because what is right side up in space? And it's like, so, oh no, these are the upside down people. Oh, okay, here, let's just flip around so we can land the ship right on the surface and incarnate with all these other fun creatures. Okay, how are you guys doing? Susie and Elga, you've already responded. And so we have just created the stairway to heaven. Now, we are going to transfer and amplify the energy through you 10 times right now. Actually, not through you, through your presences around you. So 1, 2, 3. In fact, until the next broadcast, which will be the Wednesday, and then there'll be a Thanksgiving States of Grace. This series is going to go quick. Boom, 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 boom. The States of Grace are going to open up Kuan Yin's garden where grace is, and that's another level of manifestation that we're going to use to amp up. And then after that, ninth wave coming in on the 29th, and that's a unified field that used to take millions of years to do cycles, and now it's doing this every 5 weeks. One mind, one mind, one mind, one mind. That's what the Mayans are talking about. That's the serpent, right? So it's like unified consciousness. Talk about saying, okay, how many of you are watching humanity getting ready to puke on that merry-go-round? Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Just keep shaking until they fall off. Is that they'll go along with us.